Hi everybody, here's Krystian from TeamworkCast.
And I'm Willingdone from Netrunner with Willingdone.
Nice, and this is Netrunning with TeamworkCast. This is a 30th of August game night tournament at Hiveworld. Hi Matt.
Hi, how you doing?
Nice to have you on board here for as a co-pilot here.
Yeah, always good to watch some Netrunner. I'm always down.
Excellent. So this is the second round against René here. We already commented on the first one. So after we saw René using a quite unusual identity in the first round, René is now going to use a pretty standard identity, Andromeda.
Yeah, I'd say it's about as standard as it gets, at least on the runner side, right?
Yeah, it's very popular these days. Maybe he has some unusual twists to his Andromeda, or maybe he will just demolish me with his incredible skills.
Yeah, I see a lot of people say that they're getting tired of seeing Andromeda, and I can sort of agree with that, but I think Andromeda has a lot of variance and variety in it now. You know, there's a lot of different ways to build Andromeda, and there's a lot of surprise cards you can see out of an Andromeda build. I don't think the influence is set in stone. I don't think the economy is set in stone. You know, there's a lot of flexibility, I'd say.
I also think I'm a firm believer that you know, her ability is so universal that she can work for different kinds of strategies, perhaps. So maybe there's like different types of possibilities of playing this deck. All right, so it seems like René is taking a mulligan. He was thinking a long time about what he will do. I'm apparently not taking a mulligan at all. I'm playing NBN, making news. This is, I think, after NEH already came out. So the fact that I'm not using NEH means that I really will try to, you know, use those credits, those recurring credits.
Yeah, I would anticipate seeing quite a few trace effects. There's a lot of ice that get a lot better when you have the 2 credits, as well as a variety of other cards get a lot better. Anything with a trace, you know, you're going to get 2 free credits, and that generally makes it so the trace is just basically 2 higher, you know, versus what it would be otherwise.
Definitely. I mean, we saw, if you've been following this tournament, you already saw me playing this deck. This deck hasn't actually won yet in this tournament. So let's hope I will manage better this time around.
Well, here's a good start for you. Sweep, getting all the credits.
Oh, it's excellent. It's excellent. Maybe I even didn't mulligan because I had this on my hand.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Sweep turn 1 against Andromeda. You know, just getting the 9 credits right away is always a good start.
I didn't actually have ice, as I understood. So I actually didn't mulligan because I really wanted to play the Sweep. And I install a card and draw cards.
Yeah, I don't know if that's as dangerous against Andromeda as it would be against some other decks, because Andromeda tends to want to play some of the big hand down right away, like we're seeing here.
Yeah, like Andromeda, you have at least one turn of respite often. So there is a Desperado and a Dirty Laundry on. Here's the side. By the way, I think I drew 2 cards. I'm not really sure. I played 2 cards and I discarded 1, so I had to draw 2 cards. And I guess I'm assuming that I already rest the Jackson Howard that's lying there.
That would be my guess as well.
All right, he runs on my hand. Already knows what's coming.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly a huge surprise, right? If you see the making news ID, I would expect to see mid-season replacements, but knowing that you have it in hand is certainly really good information.
I mean, especially with these days when you know that there's NEH out there, you kind of have to think about, why is he playing this and not the other thing? Oh, and René, of course, has a Crash Space out already.
Yeah, and
so that's nice.
This will help if you play Scorched Earth or something like that, and it also helps you get rid of the tags. Although it's a lot of times it gets trashed, you know, if you're tagged, especially with mid-season. That's
true. But if it doesn't get trashed, then he can slowly, you know, remove the tags. And even if I trash it, I mean, that's still taxing to me. Finally, there's the Jackson Howard. And finally, I find the ice I was looking for and install in front of HQ. I'm lucky that he didn't play any account siphon there.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the main reason you defended HQ instead of R&D here. Yes. Just so that you don't lose this early credit advantage. Although both players off to a really strong economic start here.
Oh, definitely. And of course now, even better now.
Yeah,
on the last game, I didn't see any. I think I saw one economy card in the entire game. So yeah, that's way better now.
Yeah.
Runs on HQ, wants to me rest that ice. It is a caduceus.
Yeah, and here's one of the ice that I was talking about that gets just so much better with the making news ID. You know, you can, if you need to boost it, you can, and you know, you get those 2 credits that aren't coming out of your credit pool to boost up the traces, which we're seeing used right now.
I'm not boosting the first trace, and I'm boosting the second trace with my 2 credits from NBN. And did I just put those credits into my credit pool? I hope not.
No, I think you put them off to the side.
All right.
But it is interesting that, you know, in this way you're kind of converting the recurring credits from the ID into your credit pool with the first Caduceus ability.
Yeah, Caduceus, I already told it in a different commentary. Caduceus becomes kind of like a big pop-up window.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And looks like we saw, what was that, a TMI? What was that?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been paying attention, but we're going to see. I guess we're going to see. I think it was made another mid-seasons. Not exactly sure. But he parasites the Caduceus there.
And it is your only piece of ice, so you know the parasite target that is there.
Good try. Oh, I guess it was an ice after all because I installed it. Mm-hmm. It could be in TMI because I do play a TMI.
Yeah, and that's just another ice that gets way better with the recurring credits from making news. You know, that initial trace that you spend is so much easier to make.
Yeah.
You don't have to re-res the TMI or whatnot.
Interestingly, most people forget that these credits are recurring, so they kind of like over after the first time you use them. Mm-hmm. And actually, most people give up on breaking the trace from TMI, even though the second trace, if I had to re-res the ice and do a second trace, that would be a lot weaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, paying the res cost multiple times is definitely not what you want to have to do.
Yeah. Right, so I install another card unprotected.
So maybe Sansan, maybe another Jackson Howard, could be some kind of asset econ.
Maybe it's an agenda. I want him to score it randomly so I can mid-seasons him.
It's true, you do have a substantial number of credits. It looks like a pretty huge credit lead, so you know you could really just try to play down an agenda here and leverage that mid-season.
Right, I do. That was a TMI after all, so you are right. And I res it, and of course I'm investing my NBN credits into it.
Yeah, and I think the thing with TMI that distinguishes it is the large strength. You know, especially for its res cost, it's just such a nice strength.
Oh yeah, once it's up, it's really a problem. Strength 5 or something. I have to explain to René because if he breaks a trace, then it gets de-res, but I can re-res it. Mm-hmm. That's something that people often forget. So he bounces off it and then plays a parasite on it as well.
Well, it seems like you're going to have issues getting ice to stay and play this game. Although, since both of them have a pretty high strength, you'll be in business at least for a little bit here.
Yeah, and also like usually Andromeda doesn't run too much recursion, so probably there's just one more parasite coming up. So if I can. Yes.
And we don't see a data sucker yet either, which would speed up the parasites working.
Yeah, that's true. He hasn't drawn the parasite data sucker yet. He runs on archives, and I'm forced to use Jackson Howard there because obviously there was some kind of agenda in my archives.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good play. You don't want to leave Jackson Howard in play unchecked for very long. Just having the corp able to filter the cards through and being able to shuffle agendas or other critical cards is not something you want to. It gives the corporation the ability to make better decisions later on if you don't make them trash it.
Yeah, and for corporations, it's always horrible if you have to use the entire Jackson Howard just for one agenda to rescue one agenda. You kind of want to, of course, have the meaty 3 agenda shuffle back play.
Yeah, or at least an agenda and some critical cards something else. Ooh, here's a breaking news, it looks like.
That was the agenda after all. It was a breaking news. I score it. And then close the counts.
Ooh, a good play. Yeah, just being able to play down the breaking news and then, knowing that the midseason is there, you're not really worried if you lose that 1 point. But then if you do get to score it like you did, you can play the close accounts. So it's really a hard decision for the runner.
That's what I really like about mid-seasons. It makes you really play very controlled about your agendas. You're not so worried about runners stealing agendas, because runners stealing agendas is another way, opens another set of possibilities for you suddenly. So you kind of often are in situations where you put the runner into difficult situations and you win either way.
Right, yeah, and I think that's especially true at this stage of the game, early in the game, where neither player have many points. Mid-season becomes a lot less effective later in the game, but at this stage of the game, especially when you have a pretty healthy credit pool, it's a really, really huge threat.
Yeah, it can like dominate the entire game if he ends up with 8 credits. So he gets out a ferry, and I replace that ice on my HQ there. With Caduceus was infected with a parasite, and he had to be replaced.
Yeah, and Fairy is just such an efficient breaker. It is a one-shot, but it disables so many really scary... He's like,
ooh,
bold
play. Bold play from him, just with a ferry. Oh, and it's a TMI. Ooh, not what he wanted to see.
Yeah, at least he forced you to make the res. If he was running against a blank hand, you might have just not resed and let him through. So the account siphon was essentially a forged activation orders there.
Yeah, that's often how I use the account siphon. If I see the corporation doesn't want to res the ice in front of HQ, and I want them to res it to make us spend money, I often use the account siphon to make them res stuff.
And that looks like a Armitage code busting there.
It is. Yes, he installed one of those.
And that's just such a great way, long term, to get a few credits. And then here we see another econ card here.
Yeah, he's like building up a lot of cool econ. He doesn't have too many breakers though, so that's something that he needs to work on right now, I think. But yeah, economy-wise, he's pretty good, pretty well off. And of course, that's great against NBN because that's your defense against mid-seasons, just to make sure you have more money than the corporation. And of course, because I taxed him quite a lot with this closed accounts there.
Yeah, and it's that is absolutely the best way to deal with anything that traces you. Is just if you have more credits, they're not going to be able to win the trace. So things like Katie Jones and Armitage, a good way to do that.
Oh, so that's maybe why he used account siphon, by the way. He probably wanted me, he didn't have anything to lose there, so either I res nice and, I get down with my money, or he gets through, and then he may be able to swing back up.
Yeah, and he wanted to play down these resources, so, if the account siphon had succeeded, he would have had to remove the tags, and even though he has the crash space, that would still cost something, and clicks and everything, so... Seems like making you res there was a good play.
All right, and I play subliminal messaging there. All right, so I install a card there in advance at once. Wow, this is really good because this is kind of like a challenge for him to run on this, and it could be like an NAPD contract. So let's see how this turns out. Oh, it is an NAP contract. Oh, he needs to pay the money to score it, but of course that gets him down on his money again.
Always a great agenda. Paying that 4 is just such a tax.
Yeah, and of course we know what's going to come now. There we go, mid-seasons.
Yeah, thoroughly tagging the runner with mid-seasons is just, it's a game-changing play. It's just so hard as the runner to get rid of the tags.
I don't know quite how much money he has because he's using those fluorescent dice here.
Does look like he only has 1 die worth.
Yeah, I think it's just 1. So it's like and then of course in the end I have 2 more credits, so it's like trace 8 now. So it's potentially 7 credits, 7 tags for him, and I even increase it with another 5 here. Wow.
So yeah, that's gonna be some tags.
It's going to be a lot of tags.
Once the runner has a lot of tags, it opens up other lines of play. Not just Scorched Earth or close accounts and that kind of stuff, but also psychographics can be really scary, letting you fast advance agendas and things like that.
All right, so I guess we have 12 tags. Is that true? This is very painful, but that's the power of mid-seasons. Like at some point, the runner has to commit to float the tags, to commit to a life where he will have a lot of tags.
Yeah, that's definitely thoroughly tagged, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like 12. Once it hits a certain number, you get into double-digit tags. Are you really going to be able to pay them off? Probably not. No.
Even if you start getting the economy, I guess it is we're down to just 11 tags. He actually did invest his 1 credit to get 1 tag less. But yes, still 11 tags is a lot.
Yeah, probably worth it to spend the 1 there. Just if you are ever going to remove all the tags, paying 1 and not having to spend a click to avoid one of them, not a bad choice.
Also, something to remember, I think the 0.7 Beal is 13 credits. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, just make sure outside of the game-winning Beal is nice. Although with 11 tags, we are in the game-winning Beal range.
Yeah, with the breaking news scored.
It's still not, that's still not a danger because I'm at 6 credits now. So I would need at least 11 credits to get up there.
Yeah, I think the psychographics threat is definitely a longer term sort of threat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're eventually going to have to worry about psychographics, not necessarily right at this second.
All right, so René gets his Kati Jones, I guess is the pronunciation, and then he sure gambles, and then he special orders
to get presumably a barrier breaker here. Yeah, Corroder.
Yes, nice. Call it. We have the wonderful Corroder here, so he will be able to get through this wraparound very, very easily. With just 1 credit, very, very good.
Yeah, and you pretty much have to get a Fractor here to deal with wraparound. That +7 strength if you try to get an AI breaker or something, just makes it so hard to deal with.
Yeah. He can account siphon me to know tomorrow, although he used already 1 of those, but I assume he has more of them. He doesn't have any same old thing, but I assume that we were going to see this card as well.
Well, yeah, account siphon, once you're thoroughly tagged, the drawback of account siphon isn't quite as bad. You don't really care about getting 2 more tags.
Yeah, that's true. At least you can run with the punches, I guess.
Looks like you are defending against that account siphon play, though.
Yes, and also depending R&D here, because that TMI, it takes a long time to eat through a TMI, but eventually it will get there somewhere. And there's the Corroder out. But it is now it's too late. Now there is another ice there.
Yeah, and presumably, I don't think we've seen any code gates yet, so presumably one of those is going to come up and force another icebreaker to be found.
Yeah, let's see. I do play some code gates, so let's see if one of those is code gates.
Forge activation.
He wants to on an HQ.
Yeah, and this is a good play to engineer, a count siphon play later.
Yeah.
Just see what the piece of ice is right now.
Definitely.
Looks like Draco.
Oh, strength 3 Draco.
And here's another piece of ice. I talked about this at the beginning, but another piece of ice that just gets so much better from those making news recurring credits.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And of course, it also gives a tag, so that's even better, because that's already playing into what you were trying to do anyway. It's good against account siphon. And I put it on strength 3, so he has to pay a credit with a fairy if he wants to get in there.
Looks like legwork here. This is a little scary.
Interesting play there. So he will see a lot of cards from my hand. He will definitely be able to get in there.
Yeah, I wonder, is he going to have credits to steal an NAPD?
And he sees actually all of my cards.
It's just blank, yeah.
But it's nothing. There was a fast track in there. That is interesting. So I can get my winning Beal, if I get enough money, I can get it on my hand.
Yeah, and now that the legwork is gone too, you might feel a little more confident about doing that. Most Andromeda decks play more than 1 legwork, but just finding that other copy in time might be difficult to do, especially now that the fairy is gone.
I might actually remove the wraparound, because now it's not doing anything with the Corroder out.
Yeah,
and strengthen that HQ even more, because the money is the problem here, and trying to get up enough money to get my psychographics win. Oh, clone ship in Andromeda, nice.
Yeah, I mean, Clone Chip's just such a general use and great card. You know, it combines especially well with the fairy that we already saw.
Yeah.
And you know, Parasites. Clone Chip's just a great card.
Yeah, it fits in everywhere. Again, I talked about it before, but I think it really should have been like a core set card because it seems so fundamental to so many ideas.
Yeah, and the way that it kind of breaks the timing rules, you know, it lets you install things during the run, is just such an interesting concept that I think has kind of been fundamental to the way that the game is played now.
Ooh, look at me!
There's that Beal.
There is that Beal. I'm fast tracking the Beal here quite early for me to do this right now because I can't win with this Beal. Will I just score a smaller Beal now?
Could be, yeah. I mean, knowing that the Beal is in hand definitely puts pressure on the runner, just because you know, if you're essentially now the only thing that's missing is the credits, and then you have to draw into the psychographics. But having part of the quote unquote combo is pretty good.
Oh, he does get out a fairy, so I guess I counted on him not having the fairy, but he did have the fairy after all, and he runs on my hand, but he doesn't find the Beal.
Yeah, lucky there. Although, I don't know if, I mean, you probably have 2 more Beals, so losing it here wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing ever.
Oh, no, I trashed the wrong ice from Parasite, now he knows what it is. Oh, no. Did a mistake
I've done
there.
that before.
Runs on it, and I don't... Oh, there was an NAPD contract on top of R&D. Whew.
Well, and, you know, drawing, now that he knows that you're going to draw the NAPD, you know, this is just, the runner just keeps getting tied in knots, you know, see all these different things. I think that's kind of fundamental to the way that NBN plays.
Yeah, definitely. Like, now he's like, he knows exactly what I have on my... He knows that I do have a lot of agendas on my hand, so running on HQ will be more interesting for him right now. I do... archive memory out a hedge fund and play it again, so to get those monies I need.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you stay in the 5+ credit range, just because it makes it so much easier to pay for the other cards, you know, like another hedge fund or something like that.
Oh no, but I think the idea is that I really want to get up enough money for my winning Beal. That's really, I think, the end game for me here. That's why I got the Beal. I think it was way too early. That was a misplay there. Again, I'm learning with this deck. This is the first tournament I'm playing with this deck.
But I don't know. I mean, I think maybe a little too early, but I think just, you know, showing it off to the runner is a sort of psychological play as well. You know?
Slap in the face. Like, all right, you're on the clock here. Like, try to stop me.
Yeah, and if it wasn't clear how I'm going to win, this is the card I'm going to use, you know?
Especially he saw all my cards in my hand anyway. Oh, there...
Was that information overload?
It was. Now with 11 tags, it's something that he really doesn't want to run into.
Oh, no.
If that gets over HQ, this is going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, that's going to just be such a rock-solid piece of ice on any of the servers at this point.
Oh, and he gets out a fairy to break the Draco here. Wow, he really recurs the fairy here. Really wants to steal that Beal to prevent the victory. He knows that there is an NPD on my hand. I don't know. He does probably, I think, enough. He does have enough credits to...
It looks like it, yeah.
And you get an NPD. It's not one either of those agendas.
Yeah, and I think he knows for sure that you have 2 agendas, so that seems like a pretty good play, just trying to get into HQ.
Play, yeah. And there we go. Beal.
Uh-oh.
That was the first. Psychographics.
Yeah, there it is.
Alright, I'm doing the math now. I think I don't have enough money. I think I will undo this and take 1 credit before this.
Yeah, I think... wouldn't it be 11 is what you need? Right?
Yeah, I think 11, that's not what we calculate. Maybe we miscalculated. Let's see. So this is to score. This is for a 3-point. This is a 4-point. I'm realizing I could get a credit before that.
Yeah, and that should be the 6, yep.
Yep.
Man, psychographics, That's one of those cards that we all saw in the core set and wanted to build a deck around. It wasn't, I think, till mid-season, where it became really a thing you could do.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! I actually, this is not the winning Beal. This is just a Beal with 2 additional points, so it is 4-point Beal plus 5 from the one I already scored. So
you're just 2 points away, in other words. So one agenda away, basically.
Yeah. But he still has all attacks, so I can psychographics out something else.
Like the NAPD that we know you have.
Yeah, again, I'm new with this deck, so I'm not really, familiar with all the ways of doing this. These days I would probably go for like the entire Beal thing, for trying to make sure that I get a 6-point Beal.
Well, yeah, I think even still the NAPD contract's probably going to be good enough. Eventually.
Yeah, I could be psychographics out the NAPD if I want to.
Well, and also, just with only Corroder, it's going to be pretty reasonable for you to stop him on a run, on a remote as well.
He runs on my hand again.
Swing and a miss. And, finding that NAPD contract would definitely help a lot here. Yeah. But at the same time, being buried in all the tags, kind of low on credits, it's really tough.
It's interesting that he's not using his crash space credits to get down his credits. He doesn't even care, he doesn't even invest the clicks because it's just so much.
Yeah, I think if he wasn't right on the edge of, with you just one agenda away, I think that it might be a little smarter to try to remove it. But I think at this point, it's kind of a frantic grab to find those agendas before you do.
Well, I guess he doesn't want to start removing the tags, because if I realize that he starts removing the tags, I might actually trash the crash space. So he just doesn't want to rock the boat, so to speak.
There's a code gate.
There's a code gate. That's a data pike. And now he can clone chip up something. Does he have something in his archives?
Let's see, I know he has Parasite and Fairy, but I don't know if he has a code gate breaker.
He doesn't have a data sucker though, and data pack is strength 2.
That's true, yeah. So it looks like that's just going to stop him for the time being.
Yes, and he will lose 2 credits.
Yeah, and this is just the disadvantage of having, an incomplete rig. You're going to run into ice that you just kind of have to bounce off of and be like, well, all right, I guess you got me.
Yeah, well, I guess he hasn't drawn the breakers that he really needed, and he wanted to be aggressive there early on. And now monetary-wise, he's doing quite well, but...
Yeah, although, being buried in all those tags, you're always worried about closed accounts, so you're wanting to keep your credits, spend a few of them, and not just get up to some really large number of credits.
And also, you don't want to have actually too much money on KD Jones, because you're worried that somebody might trash might trash KD Jones at an unfortunate moment. Oh wow! He gets out the Yogg with a special order.
Presumably to see what's in that remote.
The dice just flew away. We just see live the problem with the dice, and I score the final deal there with another psychographics.
Well, just that early mid-seasons makes it so hard to deal with as the runner. If you're in a position where you score that agenda, especially like the NAPD, and then you just don't have enough credits to beat the trace or deal with the trace, that's going to happen.
Yes, it was. Being able to land this kind of a massive mid-season so early one was just devastating. I think these days I would probably even didn't go for such a big amount of credits. I think just 8 credits is a kind of like good sweet spot. Because I think lots of people are forgetting that with mid-seasons you can always play 2 psychographics in one turn.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can just build up the perfect hand and just double psychographics a Beal or something. And
so with 8 you are in the 7 Beal range with 2 psychographics, but it's still kind of like a reasonable amount of credits that you won't bankrupt yourself trying to get in those extra tags. Those extra tags, and So and if I don't want to construct a winning Beal anyway, then just 3 is already enough.
Well, yeah.
All right. Yes.
I was just gonna say, good game there.
Yes, it was enjoyable. I was glad to finally win NBN. Probably not the best piloting of this specific deck, but we will see me improve with this deck for sure. All right, so Matt, where can people find your stuff? You're doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, I heard.
Yeah, I do Netrunner tutorials. I have some Doomtown stuff as well, and you can find all that stuff on youtube.com/Willingdone. And I got some videos there. You can check them out and learn a little bit about Netrunner.
Yes, excellent videos. Some of them I really enjoy. Certainly enrichment to our excellent little community of Netrunners.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so this is it for today. Thanks for joining us, Matt. It was a great pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. There was some good games that we watched.
Yes, definitely. And we will be back next time, maybe with another guest. Let's see about that. And I hope you will join us next time when we will have and always have been hacking the planet.
Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up and get in the car.
Hackers.
Those hackers, always with this planet.
How would you go about hacking the whole planet? Like, can you do that all at once, or?
Well, we used to don't have the technology previously, but now we're starting to think on a global scale as hackers. Oh, and one more thing. The excellent people from the German website Netrunner's HQ and the German podcast Meta Arena have provided us with some excellent prizes to distribute among our listeners. And we thought, instead of distributing the prizes among, for example, the comments on our own videos, we decided it would be even better if we started a hashtag to promote Netrunner among those people who aren't playing Netrunner yet. So we encourage you to use the hashtag #GetNetrunner to promote Netrunner among people who aren't playing Netrunner yet. You can post them videos that you like, or funny things that you like, or generally just talk about how awesome Netrunner is. And if you're lucky, we will randomly select posts, and you will get a chance to get a data pack, the Up and Over data pack, or the big expansion, the Honor and Profit expansion in German. So again, the hashtag is #GetNetrunner, and you can use it on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. And we will randomly pick a post after this series is over, after this tournament over, which is going to be the 8th video from this series. So go out there and hack the planet.